Yo.
What up? What up?
Ooh, we back, baby.
We back.
Let's go.
Let's
You
go.
can't be getting sick, man.
Check out. Listen, man. I gotta tell you, I'm gonna just thank you for my kids because I feel like when I come here, after coming here, I'm just a better person. What is this thing flying? Do you see this thing?
Oh yeah, man.
It's like a pterodactyl.
Got all kinds of wildlife in here today too, man.
Yo, welcome back, everybody,
Let's go.
to the Crawford Podcast. He's Swan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether it be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with the drink of the day.
Oh man, spooky season is
Let's
around
go.
the corner, man. So
This one is named appropriately too,
right?
right?
Yeah, we call in every part of this is sort of in theme, right? So we got Halloween coming around the corner at the beginning of fall, or a week away from the
like next
official
week,
start
right?
of fall. Yeah. So we're gonna call this the Black Widow Smash.
Oh,
Black Widow Smash, and then we did it with a bourbon that we got to call out. It's called the Devil's Tower, and it's a high rye bourbon from Redwood Empire. First time I've had this bourbon is we would have sipped that by itself without this drink, but the drink is fire. So in a cocktail shaker, you guys are gonna muddle, be generous with a few leaves of sage, a few blackberries, half ounce of lemon juice, half ounce of maple syrup, muddle that, add some ice, add 2 ounces of the bourbon, shake it up, pour it in a rocks glass filled with ice, and I like to garnish it with a skewer with the blackberries and the sage for the smell, but I think if you just did the blackberry and sage is good. The other part I thought of while we were drinking this that would have been good was to rim the glass with sugar. Might have made it good also, but the way it came down, we didn't rim
enough.
it. It's good,
enough,
man.
sugar.
And it's a good bourbon. Like I said, this bourbon, it's not on the cheap side, but it's not on the uber expensive side either. And I was trying to think of something that was like thematically would go with the whole Black Widow thing, and then it was what
is the price point on this?
I think it was 80.
Okay.
I think it was 80. So it's like a little higher than probably what we normally pick, but so definitely I feel like it would be good with a Woodford or something like that too. It was me trying to look for something that we hadn't tried, and then with like the name and all that go. But I'm glad, man. I like it. Like the bottle's actually pretty good. Like it's really different. It goes down smooth. It has like a hearty.
It has like a good flavor to it.
Yeah, right. Like a flavor. Yeah. Like the flavor. I couldn't describe it initially. Like the flavor to it is like really full. Like, it's good. I like it, man. So I definitely keep that one in the rotation, but probably as a sipper, not as a mixer.
Right.
I was more for the old fashioned.
Yeah, somebody who knows that bourbon is going like, no, they mixed it.
I get people all the time mad at us, like, you put what in that? I'm like, you could take me out of the pour, but you can't take the pour out.
We mix everything. All right, man. Yo, Crawford of the week. As you guys probably know, man, it's got to go out to Charlie Kirk. The assassination of Charlie.
Yeah, right. Is it him? Is it the scenario?
I think it's just because it's obviously had a big impact on our society of this guy getting shot. I've seen stuff, and I'm sure you have too, right? Like the people who are uber sad and sort of tragedy, and then you have the other side that's going like, yeah, like he kind of deserved it. I'm like, man, nobody deserves to get shot or to get killed for their opinion.
No.
Now, the only problem is that we have freedom of speech in this country, but we don't have freedom of consequence of your speech.
Go ahead, finish the thought.
I was just thinking like, unfortunately for him, he was so public with his ideologies, and he got some wacko that was whether he didn't believe what he said or didn't like what he said or whatever. When you expose yourself to that, and he was going around to university. Matter of fact, he was in a university. It was the Utah Valley University, and he was going around to universities like doing these talks where he would sort of like have an open forum of people to come up and kind of challenge his ideologies, and he encouraged the dialogue.
Yeah.
He didn't change his views, right? He just defended his views. But he did encourage the dialogue, and sometimes, man, you would see those clips and he would seem a bit condescending at times.
A bit?
Right. But also, man, there was sometimes when I would listen to that stuff and I go like, oh yeah, like I see his point.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he was wrong on everything, right? Like anybody else, right? He's right about some stuff, he's wrong about some stuff. Sometimes he's right, the way he goes about it is wrong. It's interesting, man, because like I think if you'd asked me day one, I would have had not a very different reaction to it. I think I would have thought the same way. I would have been able to articulate it differently day one, right? Like I think I've been sitting on this now for a little over a week. It's happened.
It's probably better though.
It is, in a sense of like, I'm gonna just second what you said is you should never celebrate someone deaf on fucking live TV, in front of, I don't know if his family was there and all that.
And I'm pretty sure his wife.
His wife's there.
Yeah.
But like, dude, his assassination is gonna live on the internet for ever, right? Yeah. And so his kids someday will more than likely see that. Fucking horrific, bro. I don't think anyone should have to. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, especially the way that it's fucking horrible. And I hate to turn this into like a shit on Charlie Kirk fucking segment.
No, and it's not.
But I have a different sort of like, I guess, perspective on like the exact same thing you said. Like I've seen people's reaction to it, and it was he was killed because of his, beliefs. And I disagree. I don't think he was killed because of his beliefs. I think he was killed for the last part of what you said, which is he went to colleges, right? And dude, and the best way I could describe this is why I'm glad I sat on this for a while, is like, we talked about, I've dabbled in stand-up in a while, right? And so I'm very familiar with the trick of you make people feel like they're in control, and you sort of use their emotions and the situation and the thing against them, like, right, they're playing in your arena. And so what I felt like what he did was, he goes to these colleges, but he's arguing with 19-year-olds who are intellectually inferior to him for the most part. He's using sort of like cheap rhetoric and like almost like party tricks to like get them to fall into these traps. And then the premise was basically to humiliate them. Like I didn't see
kind of dunks on him.
His intention is like, I want to slam dunk on you, and then I'm going to put it online, and then this is how I make my living, right? Like, because no one's going to click if he's like, they're talking and it's a good dialogue and there's a place of empathy and understanding, and it's like, hey, we disagree, but I understand your point, you understand mine, cool. There's no money in that, right? The money is in the viral clip that, every one of his videos, the title is clickbait, right? It's Charlie Kirk owns 4 woke kids at a college. Charlie Kirk, it's just like, it's all salacious headlines. It's all, and so like to me, I look at his death, and again, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but the other part of me goes, in a world where we're being fed propaganda and the internet is molding us, children and adults, right? And then you have children who have only lived in this world of the internet, and so the internet is shaping your viewpoints. It's raising you, right? It's influencing what you do. It's influencing who you vote for. It's influencing where you work. It's influencing your hobbies. It's influencing who you're friends with. In a world where that is very prevalent, you are a controversial figure and you are shitting on human beings, and inevitably you're going to piss someone off who is mentally unstable. And it doesn't make it right. It's your shit. You can only shit on people so much, right? It happens to politicians, right? It happens to anybody who's like in a public forum where you're sort of like questioning the status quo in whatever direction. And because, right, Charlie Kirk didn't have this out of the box thinking that made him popular, right? What made him popular was he was controversial because he shitted on you in public. It wasn't because he had this new way of thinking. It was because, to your point, it was like people look at him and go, oh, he wasn't afraid to bring his opinions to a forum that would challenge him. But like the other part of me goes, yeah, but he wasn't bringing that to like adults on a proper forum. He was bringing that to kids who were sort of beneath him intellectually, right?
And also I think that, you go to colleges because that's where, people are more sort of malleable, right? Like it's you can maybe influence more within a college setting.
Well, in the same way, he is sort of like influencing kids to like think like him, he is also doing the opposite of making people hate him, and it's why the brand is big, right? It's like, dude, how many? You have to make me feel some type of way. I can't feel neutral about you, right? How many times have you and I?
I gotta love you or hate you, man.
Right, and dude, you and I have heard this on this podcast from like feedback we've gotten from people. It's like, you guys should disagree more. You guys should argue more about stuff. You guys should that's what sells. And so like, I understand why he did what he did, but to me, it puts in question too. I don't think you're some free speech hero. I don't think you're some like heroic, brave person who was willing to argue your point. I think you use this age and the influence, and you use that to your advantage, right, in a capitalistic way, but then that same thing got you killed, right? It's the same influence you had that people worshipped you. It's also created the environment where someone hated you, and inevitably, and this person's fucked up, right? The person that killed him, clearly there's I don't even want to call it a mental health thing, but you're clearly not all there when your reaction to someone should never be to take their life, right? Or for whatever reason you hate them. And so I don't want to say like he deserved this, because I don't believe that at all. What I do believe is that you can't go out there and play victim, or we can't sort of put this guy up on a thing to a victim of his like quote unquote free speech, when I think he is a victim of the rhetoric and of his intent is what he is. He's a victim of his intent. Was if your intention is to humiliate and embarrass people, and it isn't to empathize and that stuff and do that, then inevitably you're going to get met with that.
But it shouldn't be your death. That's his intent, right? Yeah. So we don't know that was his intent.
I think it's safe to say.
But I understand. No, and I've seen other folks come on and go, oh, the guy was a racist, and I don't know that. Yeah, listen, I'm calling that. And again, we're so. Like, we're slaves to clips, right? How, most of us don't, we'll see a clip, and then if you see multiple clips, then you form an opinion based on multiple clips, and most of us don't go and look at the long form of the conversations, right? So, man, I just go, it's just sad that I don't give a shit what your opinion is. Like, he wasn't out there threatening people. No. He wasn't threatening anybody's life. And so for him to get shot, and then, dude, here's the other thing, man. That guy was, I don't want to even say, there is a person that's been accused of it, and obviously they have significant evidence to sort of put that out there. I think the guy's name is Tyler Robinson, but I don't know if that's innocent until proven guilty. But I don't know, like, that shot was so good.
I know.
I don't know.
I was like, is it fucked up if I talk about how impressive that shot was?
No. And this is what I'm saying. My point of that is, like, when you have that shot was so good, what kind of training are you having to make a shot like that from, what was it, 400 meters out?
Yeah, towards that 200 yards?
Dude.
What's?
No. 400 meters, that's times 3. It's 700 feet.
700, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Right? So you go, listen, I was a Marine, and we shot from, I think, and don't even quote me, I said this is 20 years ago, right? I remember we did like 200 meters standing, but I remember our prone, I believe, was 500 feet, I think, don't quote me on that.
Which is 500 feet. It's almost 2 full football
fields. It's pretty fucking far.
It's far,
right? But we would do sort of prone position, so laying down from 500 feet. But this is under training, under guidance.
And the elements are perfect. You're not in. Yeah.
Dude, 700 feet which was probably supposed to be a headshot, hits him in the neck. This is
you didn't calculate the wind range right, pussy.
But here's the other thing. So and this is what I'm saying. So like so speaking from like a Marine standpoint, right? When we are doing target practice from 500 meters out, and you're in a prone position, so you're laying down, so your rifle is pretty stable, right? You're taking a few practice shots. Your shots are off, so you're adjusting your windage based on the conditions of that day. This kid, to do that shit from that far out,
fucking crazy.
Probably supposed to be a headshot, but hits him in the neck. I just, man, I
missed
find
by
it
6 inches, bro.
I find it hard to believe that what kind of training did this kid have to make a shot like that in conditions like that?
Well, we'll find out shortly.
Well, I don't know,
Also,
bro,
dude, like, man, and it feels like we're fucking high-fiving this kid that shot him, but
no.
under those circumstances, under a tent, right? Like, out in the open is hard enough.
Yeah.
The angle you have to take, because this guy's under a tent,
right,
is also different from that distance. Like, it's like, you almost have to, like, shoot at the top of the tent, and then the curvature helps you. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. And I think my point of that was, like, don't always look at whoever is accused and go, oh, that must have been the guy. Look, they found text messages. Like, this shit could be some conspiracy.
Yeah. I get it.
And I don't want to wear the tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, from somebody who has shot a rifle from a significant distance, to go back another 200 feet and hit black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hitting black meaning like you got your target's white, but the center is black. To hit black from 700 feet is fucking impressive. And then under those conditions and that kid's got to be nervous, man.
I'm gonna assume you've never done that before.
I'm gonna
There's thousands of people in the vicinity. There's
So this is what I'm saying, man. I just go like, man, I don't necessarily know that this is this kid that did it, rather than some conspiracy that, fucking 50 years down the line that our kids, when they're our age, will learn that, by the way, this was actually like, this couldn't be this guy shooting from this, like the Lee Harvey Oswald shit.
Yeah, right. Because I've seen this rhetoric online of the like the left had him killed, right? Whatever the quote unquote left is, right? And I would argue, right, Charlie Kirk was extreme right, and then there's an extreme left, and unfortunately for us, is the loudest people in each group tend to be the ones that represent the group, right? And so you assume everyone who's super far left, you assume that's what everyone on the left, quote unquote, is like, and then everyone super far right, you assume that's what they're all like. I guess my pushback to that would be, if I'm being devil's advocate, and listen, the Democratic Party has been dog shit at winning the last few years, and so I don't put anything past them, but by having him assassinated, right? Let's say this is far left.
Right.
You hurt your party. I would argue that.
Absolutely, you make him a martyr.
You make him a martyr.
Yeah.
You do what happened to Trump, right? You do what Trump, it gets.
Right.
He almost gets assassinated, and it raises him to a, see, they want me dead. Da da da. I would argue that, like, you don't do that because it hurts your cause. So then is it possibly the right kills him
that does it?
Create him right.
To create
do his own people kill him to sacrifice the thing, which is very
the sacrificial lamb.
Right, yeah, like you said, I don't want to put tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, who knows?
But I would say, if that were the case, I would lean more to that side, because I would say, and again, fucking Democrats have been losers for so long, and so maybe they're too stupid to see this, that I would argue that you're gonna make this guy a martyr and win, and you're in a position right now to win without trying very hard, because the right hasn't done themselves any favors over the last 8 months, right? And so, and that's just objectively looking at it from the outside, is that you're looking at this going, oh, the other side's probably going to win a lot of seats here in the fall, not because the left side is doing anything great, but because the right side isn't living up to what the promises were, right? So do you fuck that up over a YouTuber? At the end of the day, dude, I think my frustration with the Charlie Kirk thing lied in the fact that 2 weeks before that, you get 20 kids shot in a classroom, a few of them die. I don't see people posting RIP fucking, to any of these kids. 2 days later, there's a shooting in Denver, right, at a school. I didn't see a single fucking person online posting about that. The same week, maybe even the same day, a kid in Mississippi is found hung on a college campus, a black kid in Mississippi. How that's not fucking headlines is beyond me. Now listen, this kid could have committed suicide, but the fact that a black kid in Mississippi hangs himself on a state that is notorious for having horrific violence against black people, and that doesn't make headlines, or no one's posting RIP. I'm not saying you should. I understand that most people's social media is indicative of sort of the propaganda and the shit that they've been fed and the shit that moves them, and so it's a representative of them. My argument with Charlie Kirk is why does this matter? I'm like, you know how many people got killed that day, dude? Go look online at how many people were killed by gun violence on that day. And ironically enough, Charlie Kirk himself has said that that's the cost of having guns.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so part of me was maybe he wanted to go out this way, right? Like, if that is your belief, then you should. Then I don't want to say he wants to die that way, but I'm also not gonna feel bad when it happens to you. I feel bad that like it's come to that in this country that we're so divided politically and so divided in our thought, and so because this is what makes this place great, right? We should all have differences of opinion. It's horrible that it's come to the point where there are murders happening and assassinations happening to people and attempts. And we're so caught up in our red team, blue team thing that we're failing to see that all this shit is designed to keep us this way, to keep us fighting online, to keep us like, it's like, if anything, I wish this would point out the hypocrisy in the fact that you care about this guy more than you care about fucking 28-year-olds is indicative of how fucked up we've gotten and how desensitized we've gotten and how divisive we've gotten politically in this country. And that part should make us sad.
Yeah.
The part that we're online fucking typing in RIP for a 31-year-old we've never met should make you sadder that you were desensitized. And I'm guilty of this, dude. I scroll past.
We do it on the show, bro.
We do this on this thing. We make fun of fucking school shootings.
Yes, bro.
All the time. Dude,
yep.
And in fact, I came across a quote, and I don't want to say who put it on there. I'm not sure if they're comfortable with me reading this or not, but I came across a quote on social media through this whole fucking barrage of stuff. And it was something that I'm like, man, I had a similar thought, and I didn't quite know how to articulate it. And this quote kind of summed it up. And the quote goes like this: "You were never meant to witness someone's final breath and then laugh at a TikTok. You weren't built for that. Your soul wasn't designed to hold that kind of weight and then move on like it's nothing. This isn't just about technology. This is trauma. This is spiritual damage. We're overstimulated and underconnected and completely shut down inside. We're seeing everything and feeling nothing, and that should break your heart." And that shit is so fucking accurate, bro.
That's really good,
like,
bro.
I'm like, man, it's so true, because I'm guilty of this. I see shit all the time, and I go, that should bother me. And then I scroll to the next cat video that makes me laugh, and I go on with my life, bro. I'm like, just this week, man, I watched a video of a fucking cop shoot a guy, rightfully so. The fucking guy deserved it. And the cop lit this guy up, and I was like, that was amazing. Like, I'm watching a fucking movie, and I scrolled to the next video and was like, and laughed. And like,
what's funny is I know the video you're talking about.
Yep. Like, and I kept scrolling, bro. I kept sharing shit, and I kept, you know what I mean? Like, we moved on with our lives, and I think, unfortunately, man, like, I hope that this, and it won't do that, but like the hope for this is to see like, hey man, I want you guys to be just as outraged about all of it. Not just about this guy, because this should infuriate you that it's gotten to the point where we are this far apart in terms of like our, because at the end of the day, bro, I think if people actually stopped and listened to each other, most of us all want the same shit, right?
For the most part.
Yeah. Most of us all want good schools, and most of us all want like, you know, our kids to grow up in a nice area. Most of us all want like, you know, lower taxes. Most of us all want to be able to provide good for our families and better wages. Like, most people want that, right? And then there's a couple of issues down the middle where we might disagree on, whether it's, you know, how fucking babies should or shouldn't come into this world, and you know, how many guns should be on the street, and all these little trivial things. And those are the things that are used to like create, to like basically put this like massive stick in between us and create a you versus them. When if you take out all the noise, we all pretty much want the same shit, bro.
Yeah.
And you need shit like this to like keep us that way, to keep us upset, to keep us angry, to keep us scrolling, to keep us thinking, because it's distractions. Like that day, I'm pretty sure you have the story. What happened that day that he was murdered?
The U.S. Senate passed, or they voted 51-49 to not release the Epstein files.
Yeah, which
and that
I don't give a fuck about these files anymore, bro. I've moved on.
I don't care either.
But you're having a vote on this thing that is a very big deal to American citizens. That was
it just
a very
happens
big deal.
to be on a day when we're distracted.
Yeah, and also then you have dude. How many people do you know are killed who are not in office, who are getting, you know, fucking escorts on Air Force 2 for your coffin, and are getting, you know, the president to talk about you, and are getting, you know, again, I'm not celebrating his guy's death because I don't think anyone deserves that.
Absolutely not.
Certainly not on live TV. Certainly not for your kids to see, bro. That shit to me. I think you had sent me a video of him getting shot, and it was like a really fucking close up version of it.
Oh,
and ironically, he's answering a question about fucking gun
violence,
right?
Yeah.
And he gets hit, and I remember watching that shit, going like, fuck, man, this guy's kids who are babies right now are gonna see this shit one day.
Yeah, forever,
like, that's your dad, bro. And then I'm like, no one should have to witness that of their father, and then no one should have to live that. Like that guy lived that, and irrespective of whether or not I liked him or agreed with his belief, I don't give a shit. That's what makes this place amazing. Like I want us to have civil discourse that is contrary to one another, because that's what makes this place great. So I don't want to see that happen to someone like that, man. And it just fucking sucks that happens, and it's just more divisive. Like, we don't just look at that and go, yo, we got to stop fucking being keyboard warriors online because we're creating the environment that does this. Instead, we, like, double down on the keyboard shit, man.
Dude, let me leave you with this, man. So, like, I mean, I was looking at this, and I'm like, just through history, like we're not the first society to live through these type of times, right? Political unrest and, societal sort of like unnorm, like I guess is unnorms even a word? But we're not the last. And I'm just like, man, if we just all try to be decent and empathetic humans and control the things that we can control and just make a difference where we can, like that's where we move forward, man. But I don't know how we get there living in a society where, to your point earlier, where we are witnessing way too much shit and being desensitized and being distracted of the real issues that we have.
We're more upset about people's beliefs than we are about people's actions.
Yeah.
And it's and like you said, this is cyclical, right? Like mankind does this shit all the time, and there's rises and falls of civilization based on, like the Roman Empire fell. One of the greatest empires in the history of the world fell, and if you look at that history and you read a lot of it was very similar to shit that's happening now. It was happening back then, and it was discourse about gays. It was discourse about transgenders. It was like societal things. It was class fights. It was all this shit. Like this isn't new for us.
Yeah.
It's the the whole if you don't learn from history, it's destined to repeat itself. It's just one of those things where we're like, man, we're so stupid. And then there's so many of us that just have nothing better to worry about that Facebook becomes sort of our end all be all. And we don't realize is that the algorithm is, this week, I hadn't seen any Charlie Kirk shit ever. Like all I saw was
you got shit a lot that goes this viral. Week, didn't you?
I got every fucking feed on every single social media platform. Yeah. And it's like, ultimately, and I feel like we're going to find this out in the next decade. There's going to be some you know how like when we were younger, you would see cigarette commercials and there was fucking people had catalogs and they're getting leather jackets for buying Marlboros and we're like, oh, it's amazing. And then fast forward 10 years and there's all these commercials about how terrible cigarettes are for you. And then now we're like, you don't see any cigarette commercials. I don't
even see the truth commercials anymore.
No, because now it's kind of I don't want to call it common sense, but now it's just understood. If you smoke cigarettes, that's on you, but that shit is horrible for you, right? That's sort of the thought process. It's normalized now that you should stay away from that. Whereas before it was it was a cool thing to do, right?
Right.
I think we're gonna look back at this time and go, the shit that we consumed was so poisonous to us. And I think I shouldn't say never. In our understanding of human history as we see it today is that we've never sort of respected the intake to the brain as sort of affecting our physical well-being and how we act and all that stuff. I think we're gonna look back on this and it's gonna be similar to the smoking thing where we're gonna go, man, can you believe we did that shit? We're gonna look at the shit we consumed and we're gonna look at the stuff that we looked at all day and how often we looked at it and go, man, can you believe we did that? And I think it's gonna be that silly to maybe to our kids or our grandkids.
Right.
Because we're not
probably
realizing
grandkids.
That the shit that they're feeding us now, man, like social media. Dude, I think there's a responsibility on these platforms, and I say responsibility on. I don't think they should stop because again, they're in it to make money, and you have free will, and humans and
you can turn it off.
Turn it off, right? I'm aware enough to know that they're trying to piss me off or that they're feeding me shit to feed the algorithm, but I do think there's a responsibility by Meta and and TikTok and all that stuff to go hey man, you're feeding the beast that is creating monsters or individuals who go off and decide, fuck this guy, I'm gonna go shoot him. You're doing that because you're constantly feeding. I'm sure this guy's feed is all fucking Charlie Kirk. And he's already probably has a difference in opinion, and the algorithm knows that, and it's going, look at this guy, look at this guy, look at this guy, look at this guy, right? And it's spoon feeding you hate, right? Or spoon feeding you these micro bits of data that your brain is then going, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. And then if you're mentally unstable, or you're someone who doesn't have like that filter that goes, killing people's wrong, inevitably you're gonna go, yo, fuck this guy. Somebody should do something about it, and you're gonna act on it, right?
Dude, there was a study that was done. I don't remember how long ago, man. So my facts here are vague, so bear with me on this one. But it was a study done, and in the study it was like they were touching the different like sort of senses or emotions of a human, and then once, so say like, you know, happy, sad, angry, fearful, etc. Then at some point, or once they touched all of them, they asked the person, hey, like almost like which one felt the best? Like which one do you want to feel again? And the overwhelming majority that was chosen was anger. And the study showed that it was just like anger puts us into a place to where we feel like we're sort of really correct in what we believe, and the course of action forward is the right course of action.
Oh, so it's like it makes you convicted in whatever your belief
correct.
is.
So it's really strange, man. And I know we've gone really fucking long on Charlie Kirk,
and a lot of the premises behind social media and the internet and any application really in general is playing on human psychology, and that's what makes them work, right? That's what it's created. That's what has fed the success and contributed to it and all that. I guess I'll end this point with, we shouldn't celebrate this man. Like, no one should be happy about this. I think if anything, especially if you're someone who was a fan and you respected this guy and you liked him, I guess what I would encourage everyone to do is, like, if you really want civil discourse, if you really believe this guy was for free speech, and you really believe that his intent was in the right place, then I would challenge you to, the next time you hear opinion that's different than yours, don't shit on it. Ask why, and like listen. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand, and vice versa. If you're someone who disagreed with his thoughts, just listen, and don't listen to respond. Listen to understand, and that doesn't mean you have to agree. But I think if we can get to a place of, hey, I get why we're gonna disagree, but I get why you think this way.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I think we can understand that at our core, we're supposed to think differently, but ultimately we want the same thing. We just believe on different ways to get there, but that doesn't mean we don't all want the same thing.
Dude, I heard this week there was a discussion about abortion, and I've always been sort of pro-choice, right? Mm-hmm. But I heard a different argument for pro-life, and it was regarding the sort of like the rights of the fetus, right?
Yeah.
But it was put in a way that really made me sort of reflect and go like, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Like that's a really good
that's
argument.
what the discourse should do, right? It should make
it's just like it's just like I'm not sort of, it didn't make me go, oh, I'm not pro-choice anymore. But it did make me think about it differently, and it was almost like, wow, that's true, man. Like, who is fighting for the rights of the unborn, right? Like, and so again, I don't want to get into fucking abortion, but just a topic, and it was just like I said, it's always. I mean, you've done this with me as well, man, where I sort of get different perspectives on things, and then it just makes me go like, I never considered that sort of angle.
Dude, I think and it's funny, man, because like going back to like the input we've gotten all the time is that we agree on a lot of shit. And it's funny because like I think there's some times where we don't, but none of us are like trying to get the other one to believe the thought. Like you'll tell me like your thought on it and I'll tell you my thought on it. And whether we agree or disagree, we're never like, fuck you, you're wrong. Right. Like I think you and I have done this to each other a lot where we'll go, oh fuck, I never really thought about that perspective before. Like, and I think because there's like a respect there where we're actually trying to listen to the other person, where there'll be times where you'll say something and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I never really thought about that part of it, right? And even if it doesn't change my mind, it'll make me go back and think about like, all right, well, why do I think the way I think, right? And then I think the other part of this, man, that I think if people could just get here, it would not solve, but it would certainly, I think, alleviate some of this like tension. Is sometimes a feeling is okay without a justification. Like going back to the abortion, and I'm not leaning one way or another. I'm saying if sometimes you just go, I don't know, that just feels wrong to me.
Right.
It's okay to think that, and not go, I have to defend it with all these data and this facts, right? Because everything, like for every fact you could give me, every data point, right, I could give you the counterpoint, right? It's like I work with numbers, fucking I have for 20 years. Like I can, the whole thing that numbers lie or numbers don't lie is bullshit. I can make numbers tell whatever story I want them to tell. It's the perspective or the angle that you're trying to take that on. I think it is okay sometimes to go, and this is coming from me, and I'm an extremely rational and fact-based human being, of saying I don't like how that feels. I don't like the thought of that. I don't like, and I think if you can just tell someone like, hey, I hear you, I just don't like how it feels. Yeah. And if we can just go, oh, okay, and move on going like, I disagree with you, but it doesn't feel right to you, like cool. We're just not there, and we're not there from the person won't admit that, hey, it's just a feeling, I can't really justify it, and the other person going, well, like the other person not going, well, you're fucking stupid for thinking that way, like that's where we sit, is like right. Everything is an extreme, and sometimes I think, and ego has a lot to do with that, where like there's shit that I believe now, and as I've gotten older, sometimes like people ask me, and I just go, I just don't like it, you know what I mean? Like I've gotten more comfortable in my skin now to just go, rationally, I can see your point. Yeah. I just don't like it, and it's okay. And it's like,
as you get older, you do shit like I just don't want to.
I just don't want to.
Yeah, right. He's just like, why you don't want to come with us to wherever? It's like I just don't feel like it.
Right. It's the whole like I just don't feel like it. And I think it is okay to have an opinion on something where you just go, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right spiritually. Doesn't feel right emotionally. Like whatever your thing is, I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it. But I think it's okay if someone just said, I don't like how it feels. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how whatever. And then someone go, oh, okay. Like, I disagree and I have my fact-based shit, but like, yeah, you're allowed to do your thing. Like, let's go grab lunch. Like, and unfortunately, we're not there. It's like we're at this point where we're just like, we just shit on each other because it's like, you don't think how I think. Yeah. Without realizing that we thrive and we have friends and we have these hangouts and we do all this shit because people around us think differently, right? Like, how many times have you done something with a friend that you would have never done had they not invited you to, or had not have been a hobby, or had not have been a thing, and you're like, oh fuck, like this is cool, I didn't know this was a thing, and then you start to like it, but because they introduce you to a different way of thinking, a different way to have fun, a different way, like, and it's, I don't know, man, like, it's never gonna happen, because unfortunately, I think there's too much, like, capital, I guess, weight bearing down on this thing, but like, if humans just took a step back and just went, like, yo, man, we're actually all after the same shit, and really the shit that's meant to divide us is all meant to a distraction. Like, I don't have to like you, I don't have to agree with you, I don't have to whatever, but that also doesn't mean that I have to like disrespect you, that I can't respect you, that I, you know, I don't know, man. Like,
all right, well, let me tell you what I really, speaking of the shit that I don't like,
that white on white crime. You trying to fix the white on white crime?
I know.
It's becoming an epidemic.
Not this week.
Stop killing each other, white people. I'm pleading with you.
This past, I don't know if it's in the past week. I think it's in the last 2 weeks, because we was off for a week. I was a little under the weather.
One day we're not gonna start this episode with welcome back.
Yeah, right. But in college football and in the NFL on I guess week 1 of the NFL, so it was like 2 weeks ago, we had players spitting on each other. And I had, so Jalen Carter, which is a defensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles, spit on Dak Prescott, was the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And I just had to bring this up because when I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm killing. I'm trying to kill you.
You text me within seconds of the play happening. That's how I knew. I was so mad we didn't do a podcast that night, because you text me within seconds of that shit happening, and I was like, Sean is fired the fuck up. We need,
bro. Dude, it was so funny because I was in my house and my kids are my 2 boys are going. They're like, it's not really that big a deal, Pops. And I go, no, bro. Like, I would fucking try to kill you if you spit on me.
I'm willing to
and I'm like,
about the life you spit on me, bro.
Like, so I watched it happen in real time, and I immediately thought like, oh, Dak Prescott's gonna go ape shit on this guy.
Yeah.
He didn't, and he held his composure.
Yeah,
probably the right thing to do.
He's a better person than I am.
Oh my God, bro! And then it happened again in college, where there's a Florida player, Brendan Bett, I believe it was. He spit on this South Florida player.
Florida Gators or Florida State?
Gators.
Oh, that
played the South Florida, I guess, the Bulls.
Because
right?
that's the convict school, right? The Gators. So yeah, that's that adds up.
And they don't have who's the coach that was there back
Urban
then?
Meyer. Urban Meyer. Penitentiary in that bitch,
bro. But yeah, man, I saw this happen like within days of each other. It reminded me, man, back in the late '90s, man. Bill Romanowski, which is a linebacker.
Oh yeah, no.
Remember? Yep. He spat on J.J. Stokes, which is a receiver from the Niners. And I remember even back then seeing that happen and almost being like enraged of going like, oh my God, like I would fucking try to choke you out,
bro.
Have you ever had somebody try to spit on you, bro?
Not on me, but I don't know if I've told this story on this pod once. I used to officiate.
And let me tell you, listen, for those of y'all that listen to us, man, please do not fuck with me and try to spit on me.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, we're inviting people to spit on me.
I know, right? Like, thank God we have like 3 listeners, man, and at least y'all know us and you don't fucking do that shit. But fuck, man, like that. Oh man,
do not set out to find out about that life,
man.
Because, bro. I used to officiate adult league. Well, I did kids and I did some adult sports leagues, right? And one of them was a soccer league. And I'll never forget, man, because I tell this story to people all the time. So if you guys talk to me all the time, you're probably sick of me fucking mentioning this story. But there was a game once. It was like the adult soccer, and it was like this playoffs. And the way it worked, like we did this like playoff tournament all within like a day, right? Yeah. So let's say it's like a Sunday or Saturday, whatever. We're playing multiple games. There was like a call that, and I can't remember if I made the call or the other official that I was working with made the call. I think it was him. We made, the guy didn't like it. Typical shit, there's like going back and forth. The guy comes up to us, so now we're like in the middle of the field, and the guy's just like, arguing with the fucking official, and it's me and the other guy, and we're both talking to this guy, and now he's face to face with the other official who's working with me, and he's fucking spits. I mean, he lets one out like a fucking just straight like, just put on him. And now the guy that I'm working with, who's the other official, he's a retired police officer. And he is retired because he has been shot. And I don't want to say his name,
it's fine.
Just out of respect for him. But like, he's been shot, right? So at this point, he's already a retired police officer.
Yeah.
Kind of paid his.
I already almost died.
Like, he gets spit on, bro. And it's one of those moments, bro, where I see the spit in slow motion going across. And immediately I went, you're so lucky that wasn't to me, because before that shit landed on me, you're fucking dead, bro. Like, or you're gonna kill.
Or you're gonna kill me. Yeah. Somebody's gonna die, bro.
Somebody's gonna die, bro. But I'll never forget. And it hit this guy, and this guy kept his composure. He kind of just looked down on it. Yeah, man. And he said something to do, and he backed away. And I'll never forget. Like, I'm hyped. I'm going like, are you not? I'll fuck him up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, cause you could argue with me, you could scream at me. I'm
that's bro. I'm good. I don't give a fuck,
man. I talk too much shit to be sensitive, right? About shit like that. Like I'm like, bro, just you can have at it. I don't care. You can talk shit. You can tell me whatever.
Bro, it's like the ultimate disrespect. Like I don't know, man. It's just shit. This
motherfucker, bro.
So what do you do?
He didn't do anything, bro. So the guy ultimately...
You throw him out at least?
So we ejected him from the game.
Okay.
And then he goes, I'm going to go get a gun. I'll be right back. And he leaves, right? So he said he's about to come kill us.
Okay, hold on. This is a soccer?
This is an adult soccer league that is for... It's not even competitive.
And he's getting a gun?
It's a YMCA league. Bro, and I love the Y. Shout out to the Y. But it's a Y in that league. This guy is playing.
And it's soccer.
I just want to talk about how meaningless this game was. It's a rec league. It's like the Y that doesn't even keep score. You know what I mean? They're like everybody's a winner kind of thing. This guy fucking goes, I'm going home. I'm getting my gun. I'm gonna kill both of y'all. I'll be right back. And
he told you guys that?
And like we're both looking at each other, and he storms off, and like. Most people are like, yo, like, let's leave, cancel the game. And I'm fucking crazy. So I'm like, nah, I kind of want to see if he's about that life, right? So I stick around. And the other dude sticks around. And I look at him and I go, bro, like.
He's going, I've been shot.
That's Dude,
Did you say that shit?
I go, man, like, you're a bigger man than I am, because I saw that shit in midair, and I was throwing a punch in my head before that shit landed on you. And he goes, if you'd be shocked at how many times I've been spit at and how often that shit happens and whatever, like, there's nothing good that could come out of that situation. I disagree.
You're right.
I go,
there ain't nothing come out of that.
Right? I go, and he's so calm and collected about it. And he was just like, bro, I was a cop. And, and he tells me the whole shit.
That guy's my idol, man.
Oh, my God, bro. I told him after that, I go, yo, you are so much bigger of a man than I will ever be, because I'm going to tell you right now.
I'd be 89, and I'm taking out my fucking, my dentures and fucking throwing it at you.
I've had toddlers accidentally throw up on me. I'll fuck them up. I ain't think I'm taking some shit from some grown ass man, bro. I go, one of us is dying. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
but dude, most
bro.
calm, cool, and collected. I'll say his first name. His name was Shane. Shane was the most calm, cool, collected I've ever seen in my life.
Shane, shout out to you.
Yeah, bro.
Because goddamn it, I don't know about. Oh man, I know that I couldn't do it. My kids mentioned that shit like 3 days later, and I look at them like this. I'm like,
it's the ultimate.
I'm like, oh man, don't even bring it up.
Like, I wouldn't even think about doing that to somebody. But yeah, man. So shout out to him. But I remember he being so calm, and I was like, man, and then, he told me, like, yo, these scenarios, like, it's happening more than once. He's like, bro, I was a cop that shit happened to me all the time. And then he played through all the scenarios, right? He's like, here's where that goes, right? And he's telling me worst case, like, yo, we're going into a fight, yada, yada, yada. And I go, yeah. I'm like, one of us is getting pulled out of this bitch in handcuffs, or both of us, or in a fucking stretcher, or I'm like, bro, you're not spitting on me, dog. And again, we don't invite y'all to spit on us if you see us in public. Don't test that.
Please don't.
Don't test my gangster, bro. Like,
yo, listen, I ain't gangster, but fuck, man, I might lose my fucking mind, bro.
But man, it's just so disrespectful, and like to see that. Listen, the fucking whole story where Dak did it first and blah, blah, blah. I could see why this guy thought Dak was doing it towards him first. Like, I saw the video and I'm like, oh, I saw Dak.
But even when Dak did it, it went straight to the floor.
Yeah. And so this guy's going, oh, he spit in my direction. It's like, yeah, but could you just spit in that direction back without actually spitting on it?
Right.
And
maybe get closer.
Also, then I went, it's a fucking football player who plays defense. He has to hit dudes for a living. Like, I'm giving this guy too much credit. You know what I mean?
True, man. You're supposed to disrespect people.
He's violent, right?
Yeah, right. You're supposed to.
And I think we discount that so much, is that when someone's livelihood is dependent on how violent they can be, you're forgetting what type of human being that takes to get to that point in time, man.
I didn't think about that, man. That's a fucking great point.
Yeah, it's like you're discounting the fact that how many of us would go, dude, watching boxing this week, and like, even like I talk to my kids all the time, it's like, that is a shitty way to make a living, is boxing, UFC, all that stuff. I go, you have to get punched in the fucking face. No matter how good you are, the other dude is trying to incapacitate you. And at some point in time, someone's going to succeed. And that's how you have to make your money. That's a shitty way to make a living. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, you can live a good lifestyle. Yeah, but it's still a shitty way to make a living, right? And then also, like, you don't do that unless you're pretty much out of a lot of other options to make that equally.
Oh, unless you're just really fucking good at, beating people up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, unless you're Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. And also argue that he didn't have many other options, because I've heard him read.
Why you gotta go there, man? That's my boy.
Floyd's 50-some years old and he can't fuck me up now. We in a different weight class.
Dude, well, speaking of boxing, man, so right, Canelo Alvarez versus Bud Crawford.
Yeah.
Dude, phenomenal fight, bro.
Great fight, yeah.
Phenomenal fight. If you guys have not seen it, if you have fucking Netflix, go back, watch the fight. The entire card is pretty good. There's another one. I wish I had taken down the names of the other two guys that fought.
I don't remember either, man.
I don't remember what dude, these guys are throwing haymakers for 12 rounds.
Trying to murder each other for 12 rounds. It was good.
Yeah.
It was everything that you hope to see in a boxing match.
Yeah.
Was like, I want to see two dudes try to kill each other. It was that.
But did you see that? So this fight card was different because they had the president of the UFC, Dana White.
Dana White
was, I don't know what his role was, but he was kind of running.
Is spectacular.
But he was running this, right?
Oscar De La Hoya, and De La Hoya is like a big promoter in boxing now. Yeah. And so I think as just like to prove a point, he's like, oh, I'm gonna put on the largest or the biggest boxing card in history.
Oh.
And so that's why Dana White stepped in, and he did it with Saudi money, of course, with Turkey. I can't remember this guy's last name, but his first name is Turkey. And so they put it together. And that's why they were able to sort of put the cash together to pay Canelo.
Oh, yeah, because Canelo got 150 mil, and Bud, the winner, got some. No, only got 50.
Oh, he did. He get 50?
Yeah, he got 50.
Good for Bud, bro.
Got 50.
Good for Bud, man.
So, phenomenal fight card, man. And then the main event was just great. And Canelo is a phenomenal boxer.
Do you think it was great if you're a casual? Or do you think it's great because you and I are boxing fans? Like,
I guess if you don't know any better, if you've never seen the guys fight, then no.
Because it's funny, man. I agree with you that it was a great fight. I'm always thinking about it from like the perspective of like the casual fan, like when you do these events. And I'm a boxing nerd. It's my favorite sport. Like I love watching boxing. And it was like finally, it was like a fight that was like big and lived up to the hype in my head of the. You know, you hear boxing is called the sweet science, and it was like, to me, I would have been insufferable to watch that fight with people. Like, thankfully, I watched it with like just my brother because like I would have been fucking yelling the whole time about how like look at this, and trying to like teach people why it was good because like when people call boxing the sweet science, this was a perfect example of that. It's like people just think, oh, it's two guys with the gloves on and they're just trying to fuck each other up, and it's like yeah, but at its core. The chess match that happens within boxing is something that if you're a casual fan, you miss out on, and there's these little nuance, even in the stance that Bud Crawford takes. Like the calculated, like Bud Crawford stood in the middle of the ring and was willing to trade with Canelo, and it looks like you're going, I can't believe he's willing to trade. But even that was calculated, and the way he did it, the way he stood, is like, oh, he's not going to take any damage. Yeah, and it looks like he's sitting there and he's willing to slug it out. And so as a fan...
No, but he wasn't...
But he's not getting anything. He's not really in from his positioning, there isn't a risk at all. Right. But it looks like there is. But there's a win for him in it if he lands, right? Like, and like you said,
to the casual fan, you're going, oh, they're standing in the middle of the ring trading. They're going
to slug it out, right.
And it's like no, man. And you know and I think it was a great match in looking at angles.
Yes.
And how how boxers move and how angle their bodies of how they do to not take the punishment. Canelo is a Hall of Fame phenomenal
all-time great
boxer.
All-time great, yeah.
And Bud didn't make him look like an amateur. That's going too far.
I had the fight closer actually than I think the two judges that scored it 115 and 113 had the fight the way I had it, except I disagreed with their last two rounds. But in their cards, Crawford needed the last two rounds to win. It was draw.
Oh, wow.
It was draw leaving the 10th.
Okay.
And I had it similarly. Except I gave Canelo one of the last two rounds. I think maybe both, but one of the last two rounds. I didn't give him 12. I think I gave him 11. One of the last two rounds I thought I gave Canelo. But I was going, they're showing the unofficial scorecard. I disagree with that guy completely.
Oh, completely.
Because he gave like the first 5 rounds to Crawford, and I go, no, Canelo won the first
1 and 2.
Yes. Right, yes. Exactly. So I'm watching it going, no, Canelo won the first 2.
Yes,
and so to me, I was like, oh, this is a draw right now. And so these championship rounds matter. And I was glad to see those last 2 judges. I disagreed on how they scored in the 11th, but I went not egregiously. I'm like, I could see it. And I thought, Crawford deserved the win. So I don't care that you gave him 2 or 3, like he deserved, or 1. He deserved to win that fight just based on, I thought he made the adjustments better. I thought he controlled. I thought Canelo had to fight Crawford's fight and not vice versa. And for those people who aren't boxing fans, you don't understand. Crawford came up 2 weight classes to fight him. And when I say that, he actually came up 4 because his last fight was 2 weight classes up, but he went 2 weight classes up to do his last fight, right?
Correct.
So really, he's fighting 30 pounds above his weight, 25 pounds above his normal weight class, right, that he's dominated in. And he comes up to fight a guy who is bigger than him in terms of like thickness, not bigger than him maybe height-wise, but
is used to fighting and knocking guys out at that weight class,
right.
Man. And in boxing, it's going up 1 weight class could demolish.
Dude, we see now Ryan Garcia.
Yes.
Ryan Garcia went up 6 pounds. Or couldn't put on 6 pounds, right? Because of the rehydration clause, and struggled. And so I thought watching Crawford go, man, what a phenomenal boxing, like tactician, just a strategy. The fact that I think he gave himself a year to put on the weight, and the weight, he carried the weight well, it didn't make him slower. And then to go, hey, I'm going to prove to you how one-dimensional Canelo is, in the sense that he's used to fighting these bigger guys. They're slower. They're not like me. He very much did the Floyd thing, which was Canelo has struggled, and I think
he didn't. But he was able. I think where Floyd didn't do, he was able to stand in the middle of the ring and trade.
He made it more entertaining than
Yes,
Floyd did.
I agree.
Absolutely. Where Floyd was like, I'm going to make you look so stupid that you can't even hit me.
Right.
Crawford went, I'm going to stand here and go, I'm going to let you take your shots, but none of them are going to hurt me.
Right.
Because, dude, there's a great
bro.
still shot of him when they're standing in the middle of the ring, and it looks like they're trading, and you look at how Crawford's angle of how his front foot is, and again, this is like fucking boxing nerdum, is the way his front foot is set, and the way his arms are set, it's like Canelo looks like he's throwing haymakers and none of them are really landing, but aesthetically it looks incredible. But from his perspective, strategically, it's like, oh my God, dude, you found this angle where you're like, I'm taking these amazing shots at Canelo. And I never thought Crawford could hurt Canelo, and that was the case. Like, he could never drop him, but he certainly got his attention a few times.
Not for nothing, bro. In the 12th round, where they're kind of trading, there was a point where I go, man, if it goes another round, like, could he drop Canelo?
See,
I don't know that he could have.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, because there were some shots where you just went, oh, fuck.
Right.
It was like too many of them. It was like, it's an accumulation of these shots.
Yes.
But I think where I landed on, like, especially the one that's gone like viral, whereas the Canelo like takes a fucking
when he
turn,
looks and then he's like, what the fuck?
I chalked it up to like frustration, almost more of
it definitely was.
right, like what the fuck?
It definitely was.
That shot normally takes people out, and it was like, not only did you counter me, it was like I missed my shot, I missed the second one, you made me look stupid on your duck, and then you hit this short left hook, like,
bro.
Like, it was more of a respect, like,
yes.
all right, like, fuck, like,
definitely.
And afterwards, I love when boxers go like, bro, like, they don't make bullshit excuses like,
bro,
I'm sick or dehydrated.
Because
like,
every time Canelo loses, and this one is no exception, he never makes excuses. He always gives props to the other fighter.
Yep.
And he's just like, yo, like, I'm not finished. I'll be back.
Yeah. He went, and I love his thing was, he goes like, yo, I didn't have an answer for him.
Yeah.
He goes, every time I thought I figured him out, he did something else. And he goes, and ultimately I couldn't figure him out. And I was like, yo, how refreshing is that he goes, like you said, like, yo, I'll be back. Like, I'm not trash. I'm not washed. That motherfucker was better than me today. Like, and that's okay, bro. Like,
when he fought Floyd,
yep.
He said, yo, he was like a ghost. Remember that shit? That's back when he couldn't speak English.
He was like,
it's like a ghost. I couldn't hit him.
I couldn't hit him. I couldn't figure out how to hit him. Like, and then even after this one, he went, yo, I couldn't figure him out. My body wouldn't let me get there. And I thought that was like, so again, man, in a sport that you have to have ego in, right? Because I think we lose sight of the fact that whenever it's mixed martial arts, these guys are putting their life on the line.
Yep.
And in a sport where ego and machismo and bravado sort of like have to lead the charge, because otherwise you're fucked, right? The fact that he could go, yo, man, like, I felt, they asked him, he's like, I felt great. Like, that's him with the age thing. He's like, I felt great. Like, he's fucking good. He's like, good. This is what he said. He goes like, yo, I felt great, man. He goes like, my body couldn't match what he was doing. Like, I couldn't figure it out. Like, he's like fucking, it's almost like when he fought Floyd, I remember, like, at that time, I don't know if you felt this way. I remember watching the fight going, yo, this is wild because it feels desperately hopeless. Like, it was like Canelo would try to do something and Floyd
couldn't do anything.
And he couldn't do anything. And you're watching it and you're going, oh, this guy has zero shot. And it's impressive. And I wonder if Canelo felt that, where he just goes, yo, this guy's good. Like, he's, not only is he good, he even said, like, yo, he hits fucking hard. Like, for a small dude, he's like, yo, he caught my attention. Like, I'm like, I don't think he could have dropped Canelo, but like, you're right. Like, if this is the 15-round era,
correct,
do you ultimately wear him out of it where you go, you can only take like so many of those shots? Because Crawford is fast enough to land. Like, I think Golovkin landed one or two of those like crazy haymakers, but he's not fast enough to land those every round.
Right.
And Crawford's like, yo, I'm skilled enough to land those every round.
Also,
I don't care who you are. That should accumulate.
Also, he's a southpaw. His jab. Remember the last fight, or not the 2 fights ago, when he fought who's the welterweight fucking champion?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Fuck
no,
yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can see his face. Yep.
The guy who got into a car accident.
Yep.
Remember, there was somebody at ringside that was going, "Yo, Crawford's jab is a battering ram. Like it's hurting. The jabs are hurting. But typically your jabs are setting up your power shots." He's
right.
like, the power shot is the jab, and then his left hand is even worse.
And that's abnormal, man. Yeah. And again, I know people would have been so sick of me watching that shit with me because again, the boxing nerd in me was like loving the science of the boxing, the angles, the all that. Like I very few times will these fights live up to the hype. I certainly didn't expect. I thought Canelo. I think everybody who asked me beforehand, I went, if it goes decision, it's Crawford. I went, but I'm kind of expecting it to be done in like 7 to 8 Canelo by knockout. I thought for sure Canelo.
Oh, you thought he was gonna knock him out?
Yeah,
no, I didn't think so.
You know why I didn't? And again, and this is. I guess you could make this argument both ways. This is, the knock on Crawford has been, well, who has he beat? The flip side of that now, to me, like watching this is going, is he just that much better than everyone else that I just think, oh, you haven't really fought anybody. But in reality, no one has been able to sort of like compete with you.
Right.
Because everything was, well, if Canelo lands, and it was always if Canelo lands. Right? And Canelo never really landed anything meaningful, right? Like, he landed some shots where you're like, oh, wow, like Crawford took that. But there isn't a signature, like, haymaker like Canelo landed on Triple G.
On Triple G,
that
right.
We went, oh, shit, like, hit that.
That's knocking anybody else out.
Right, and I still don't know if Crawford can take that, but it doesn't matter, because he couldn't. And I think there's credit. It's the Floyd thing. Like, how many times do we hear the Floyd argument of like, well, so-and-so's not fighting.
He's not fighting like he normally does. Yes.
Well, yeah, because Floyd is going to eliminate the thing that you're good at.
Yeah.
Like, why would I let you hit me with that? Like, so I don't know if it's that, but I will certainly say he outboxed Canelo. He sort of stood in the middle of the ring and said, well, if you can hit me, big boy, like, let's go. And he couldn't, right? You know what I mean? Like, I got to give him credit. And then do you think, and I know we're going long on this one, the argument after that was, is Crawford pound for pound the best fighter of this era? And I have a thought. I think if you include Canelo in that conversation, which I think he is because they're in the same era, I still put Canelo above him. I know he's beat Canelo, right? And so that sounds crazy. But I think Canelo's resume in terms of like who he's beat is more impressive.
I agree, but also the fact that Canelo, and I forgot this when going into the fight, Canelo's younger than him.
Is he really?
He's younger.
Oh wow!
And I didn't realize that going into the fight.
I didn't either.
And it was actually who's the guy from what's the old fucking high school show with Screech and fucking
Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez was on there. Yeah. He's the one that said, he goes like, I'm gonna go with the younger guy when they were picking. I'm gonna go with the younger guy, Canelo, and I'm just like, Canelo's younger than him, and it's because I've been watching Canelo fight for so much longer,
and we haven't watched Crawford because Crawford hasn't been a main event draw.
That's right.
For that long. And that's not and I think again I'm letting that sort of dictate my opinion on Crawford because again admittedly my knock on Crawford has always been phenomenal boxer. I don't have anybody on his resume that's impressed me. Like he beat Amir Khan past his prime. So is everybody else. Like, I don't have a signature win for Crawford. This was the first one that I go,
no, man, the fight 2 fights ago when he fought who was the welterweight champion? Why am I drawing a blank on that?
But like but the fact that you can't remember shouldn't that be the welterweight champion who was like, oh, you talking about Errol Spence?
Yes. Who was the undefeated boxer, like and with top of his game when they fought.
Yeah. But that was probably his first. Yeah, I would say that's probably his first.
And he not only beat him, like
he destroyed him.
And the thing is, so then from that.
But then Errol Spence, I go look at his resume. Right.
Yeah, but he fought all of the the other guy was it Sean Porter, Thurman. you know, like for all the guys that were,
I would say Thurman and Porter on their way out.
Danny Garcia.
Yeah, I'm not giving anybody credit for being Danny Garcia, bro. Yo, I want to love Danny Garcia because he's a Puerto Rican dude, but also Danny Garcia doesn't have any impressive wins to me.
Danny Garcia doesn't love Danny Garcia.
He just, he fucking, Danny Garcia beats everyone by decision in the most boring fights ever, and it's never anyone meaningful. Danny Garcia doesn't have a single signature win either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I can't name a single person, and that's not to call Danny Garcia trash.
No. He's fought everybody. He's fought everybody
in his weight class. But I would argue that he's lost to all
to
the
big guys,
to the big guys, right? And Earl Spence, I would say, didn't fight anyone meaningful until he fought Sean Porter, Thurman. You know, and I would argue that those guys were on their way out. Like Thurman was coming off a loss to a fucking ancient Manny Pacquiao, right? Yeah. Like Porter was beating a lot of people, but Porter wasn't like undefeated. He's not like this all-time fighter that we're gonna look back.
But he was good. He's good. One of the top guys in the weight class.
But I would with Crawford, and I don't want to take away from Crawford's. I don't want to say Crawford like duck people because I don't believe that at all.
No, I don't think so either.
I think what I believe is that Canelo sought people out of his weight class, even, and like Canelo has been the first boxer in my lifetime, other than like watching like a Mike Tyson, right? Like in his prime back then, the Canelo was like, fucking give me everybody. And he was like, oh, I gotta go up to light heavy? Sure.
Yeah, no, you did.
Like, I gotta go to welterweight? Give me that.
He fought everybody, bro.
He fought
everybody.
Like Canelo's the only fighter you could never say duck somebody. Because if there was like Benavidez would be the guy.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Benavidez is the only guy that's kind of left that I would go, okay, Crawford, like fight him. Other than that,
I don't think Crawford's gonna fight Benavidez.
Know that I want to even.
Benavidez is like 6'1", 6'2". Benavidez is like a real Benavidez could be a heavyweight. So I don't think Crawford's gonna fight Benavidez naturally. Like Benavidez has to fucking go ham to fight at 170 or 167. But he doesn't.
No one like. I don't think that would demand a lot of money.
No, because the name's not there. But I also don't think like if I'm Crawford, I go, no matter how good I think I am, Benavidez could land one shot and it changes it because he's 20, 30 pounds heavier than you walking around normally, right? And so, like, I don't think Crawford takes a Benavidez, and I wouldn't even blame him because it's like, it would be like Crawford, I go, that's like taking Deontay Wilder. Like, I don't think we think about it that way, but Deontay Wilder's like 205, 210. He's a small guy for a heavyweight. Like Deontay Wilder, if you think about it.
Is he
Deontay
that
Wilder
light?
Fights at like 210, 215.
I thought he was 220.
Nah, man. Deontay Wilder, I think, walks around at like fucking.
It doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time?
Dude, we're an hour 6.
What the fuck are you doing, man?
All right, we gotta do rapid rounds.
We had come in thinking that we was gonna learn rapid fire, and we didn't do that shit. We got a bunch of shit left over. We're gonna leave a bunch of this shit for next time, man.
All right.
I gotta give you. I'm gonna hit you up with a story. We're gonna close it out here. I got a call this week, and this is just I want to kind of bring this up because I thought it was a cool moment where I had given advice to somebody and then didn't really think anything of it, and also didn't necessarily go like, oh, he's gonna follow my advice or not follow it. It was just kind of some advice. I had told a friend of mine. Sorry, let me start over. I got a call this week, and it was from somebody who I wouldn't normally get a call from, but it was a friend of mine from back in high school, and he told me, "Hey man, I bought a place, and I bought a townhouse." And I was like, "Oh man, that's amazing!" And I was, congratulating him on that. But the reason that he called me was, he goes, "Hey man, last time that you and I hung out, like, you told me, like, yo man, you gotta kind of get your shit together, and you gotta get your own shit. Like, stop depending on, stop living with women, stop living with other people. Like, you have to get your own shit." And I guess my words really resonated with him, and it stuck with him. And he called me to tell me, like, yo, when you told me that, it really stuck with me. And I went for this thing, and I got it. And so I wanted to call to thank you for the advice and for the motivation that I needed to go and buy to go and buy my place. And I was so fucking happy for him, man. And And it was just one of those moments where you just go like, yo, the examples that we set, the advice that we give, not everybody's going to take that shit. And actually, most people probably won't. But you would be surprised at how many people actually are listening.
Yeah.
You know, that they're listening, they're taking your words, especially if they think that you're a stand-up person, right? Or they think that you got your shit together. Or
yeah, that speaks a lot to the respect he has for you, right? As a person. Yeah. That's a guy.
So like, congratulations to, and this guy knows who he is if he's listening. I don't think that he even listens, but if he listens, he knows who he is, man. And I'm really just like fucking over the moon for this guy, and to think that I had a hand in that, like, just it's awesome, man. So like, if you ever think that, you know, if you're overstepping boundaries or whatever, man, like, don't think that. Like, if it's just coming from the heart, you know, continue to give advice to your people, and you never know who it's gonna touch.
I hope my family's listening because they all call me an asshole.
Well, you kind of are.
But man, what I will say is, like, I love this story because, like, first off, as guys, man, we're so, like, our ego sometimes and our pride gets in the way of us being able, you know, like, he could have taken your advice as like a shot, or like, fuck you, what do you know about my life? Or just so many ways, right? Like, because as guys, we're prideful and we think we know what we're doing all the time. And so, like, kudos to him for being receptive, and, like, to you for actually being willing to, like, call that out, right? Because most of us would have thought that and not said it to him. Like, most of us would have been like, yo, get your shit together, bro. Like, but we won't actually say it out loud. I will, which is why my family doesn't like me. But, like, most people won't. But what I will say, man, like, you've done this for me, man. Like, and I know I've talked about this on the pod before. Like, something as simple as, like, you telling me a story about, like, your college fund for your kids. I remember vividly, dude. I didn't even have kids yet. You mentioned it, and I went, oh, check mark. I gotta do that whenever I have kids. Like, you know, when I met you, man, I was barely old enough to drink, right? So, like, I think I wasn't old enough to drink, and so I certainly didn't have kids, you know, and I remember just, like, hearing a story about you, and, like, and at the time, you know, whatever it was like you had set up a college fund for your kids, and I remember you telling me a story, and me, like, filing that in the back of my head, like, almost like, it's not that I didn't know that was a possibility, but I'd never spoken to anyone who had actually done that, right? Like prepaid for college, right? And it was like something that small went, oh, I got to remember to do that when I have kids. And I remember filing in the back of my brain, and it was from a conversation you and I had, and it's like a throwaway conversation we're having over, like, lunch. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget it. And I did it, you know, like, when it came time to do it.
Yeah.
But it was from a conversation you and I had. And it's like weird to think of, like, because I'm somebody who works in finance, right? Like, who ultimately would have, like, I understand, like, the things you should do, but I think when I look back at my upbringing and maybe, like, my personal life, is like, I didn't know really people who had done it before, right? Like, I didn't have examples of people who had done things like that before. And, like, when you did, I'm like, oh shit, like, oh, okay, like. And a lot of people listening are probably going like, well, obviously, like, that's a thing, but you got to understand, like, I'm listening to you say this. I'm like 20, 21 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And it stuck with me, man. And it was something that I remember filing and, like, wanting to take action on and making it like a goal for me. Like, in the same way that this guy made, like, buying a house a goal, like, because of a conversation you had, I gotta make sure I try to take care of my kids' college like a goal for me.
Right.
Like, yeah. And
dude, I heard a similar thing years ago, man. There was a childhood friend of mine, and this guy's also, like, a childhood friend of mine from, like, high school, but even further back, childhood friend of mine from New York telling me a similar thing where when he bought a house, and this is like, say, like, I don't know, within the last 10 years. Told me the same thing where he goes, yo, man, I bought a house, and then I'm just like, oh, man, that's amazing. Tell me about it. So he tells me, and then he brings up the fact that he goes like, yo, man, like, you know, you were the first among us to buy a house. And he goes, I don't think we ever told you, but it was one of those things where we kind of looked at you and said, oh shit, like, it's possible. Like, somebody that comes from here bought a house. Like, it's possible. And then he goes, and then through the years, like, so-and-so bought a house, and so-and-so moved over here and bought a condo. And then he goes, and then here I am, years later, he goes, I feel like I'm late to the game, but I got my shit, finally. And he goes, like, I always look back to like when you bought yours, it was like, oh shit, like yo, Sean bought a house, and this is possible for us.
Yeah, dude, you have to see someone do it, right? Whether it's someone you look up to on TV, whether it's like
Anything,
you have
man.
to
Get exposure, bro.
Get exposure to it, and it like definitely plays a larger role if it's someone you're around all the time. If it's like a friend, if it's someone who grew up in the same circumstances, who lives in the same neighborhood, who like I was just having this conversation is like you hear this like the narrative of like pick yourself up by the bootstraps, like you know all stuff. And I do firmly believe that like you are not responsible for the situation you were born into, but you're certainly responsible for the situation you died in, right? But I also understand that there's a lot of nuance that goes into that. And so like there's a lot of data and things around you that feed into that, and that you ultimately have to make a decision. You go one way or another. And so like it's not to be dismissive of your choices, but we're all a product of what we're surrounded by, and seeing anything, dude. And I would argue the most basic thing, like going to school and learning how to read, like if you saw your classmate next to you do it, it inspired you to want, like, oh, fuck, I don't want to embarrass myself when it's whatever it was, like whether it's peer pressure, whatever. You have to see people around you do it, and that's like an oversimplification of it, but it still plays true. I think in every sort of walk of life is like you have to see that it's possible, and then human nature and like will and all that other stuff kicks in. But you have to see that it's possible first, especially from people around you, especially from circumstances around you, especially from like kids from the same neighborhood, kids who talk like you, who sound like whatever that is, for whatever reason, it helps when you see it that way. Yeah. And of course, there's an anomaly. Every once in a while, someone goes, irrespective of my environment, or you know, I did this, overcame these odds, or I went in this direction, and it had nothing to do with where you grew up. And that's the exception to the rule. It's not to say that it's impossible, but for the most part, everybody, successful, poor, rich, whatever it is, it's like you are a product of the people and the circumstances you grow up around in, and that either shapes you positively or negatively. Like it doesn't matter.
All right, man. Let's get out of here, man. I know you had the last quote,
and it actually sticks with that, man. I did have a quote.
Good, you had a quote for us this week, man.
And I think the quote plays into that, and I don't know why, but it's and I'm gonna use two of these, man. And there's a quote on relationships, but it sort of just plays into what we were just talking about. I saw it online this week, and for whatever reason, it has stuck with me. And the quote was something like this. It was, "Your spouse is your life's co-founder. They'll either invest in your dream or they'll bankrupt your confidence. So choose wisely." And that shit just does make you think, right? Like on who you choose to be your life partner. And there was another one that I've seen for a long time, or that I've known about for a long time, that sort of stood out to me in the same breath when I read this one. And it was, you could tell a lot about a person based on who they choose to be with, like romantically, right? Like who they choose as their wife, husband, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. About how they feel about themselves, like their self-esteem. And that shit couldn't be more accurate either. But I would say that like the person who you choose to be around all the time, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, life partner, whatever you want to call them, however you want to think, will absolutely, when you choose your spouse, dude, when you choose your wife, husband, when you choose your boyfriend, girlfriend, you're choosing habits, you're choosing lifestyle, you're choosing your peace, you're choosing everything that goes on to your life. Like, I don't think you can be a successful human being without having a person with you that sort of
that can support that.
That supports that, or like counters that, right? Like you can't be Jeff Bezos without maybe having the stay-at-home, mom, like whatever, his first wife, right? You like maybe, right? Like, or the wife who's like, I understand what it takes to build an empire. Like, do you, and I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. I'm saying like who you choose for you, and that's different for everybody. Is like people will either hold you down. Like I've seen. Like I think when you read these quotes like that, or you see that, like they're kind of throwaways on like social media and all that, but I start to think about like examples or things that I've seen around me, and it's like, how many couples have you seen where it's like even something as simple as maybe fitness habits, and you're like, you see who they're with, and you're like,
one of them was fat and now the other one got fat because they're both, you know what I mean? Like, or one of them is in shape and crazy because the other one, like, you know, you like one of them likes this type of music or TV show. Now the other one does, right? Like it's impossible to be around people for that long and for the habits not to
inherit some of those habits. Yeah.
And so like what you're inheriting is very important. It will dictate where you end up. And so you have to be very careful about how you, but the selection you make, I guess, is my point, and that's why it's.
Or be extremely disciplined.
Yeah, right. Or you have You have to be willing to be like, well, fuck it. If you don't like me, this is me, and maybe you drag that person along with you, right? And that's also possible. But
all right, man. On that, tell them where they can find us.
At the Carbon Football Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, at Carbon Football Podcast on TikTok. Every audio platform you guys could possibly imagine: Audible, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, JioSaavn, Ghana, Podchaser, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Podchaser. I think I've already said that. Just all of it. Your smart devices, tell them to play us. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Mostly if it's positive. Don't leave negative ones. Don't fuck up our thing on the algorithm. I know we used to say just leave anything. Nah, fuck y'all. Leave a positive.
If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. You
got nothing nice to say, listen to your mama. Don't say nothing at all. But yeah, man, shout out to you guys for the support. We're back in the flow of things here. We appreciate you guys always giving us the input and all that. And hopefully we can be better for you guys and keep being consistent.
Yeah, man. And I always say this at the end, right? We appreciate you guys. If you have taken any time out of your week to listen, that's just fucking amazing to us.
And I know we say this all the time, it's our broken record, but like whether you get a text or I get a text or an email or a social media post or whatever, like we share it with each other, whether it's a family, a friend, a random stranger, whatever, like we'll share it, and that shit is motivating, so don't stop doing that. Like I love hearing, you know, people, whether you hate it or you like it, I love hearing just in general that people are listening and just feedback. Like I don't necessarily do this because I want people to agree with what we're saying.
No,
or
absolutely.
I just, you know, whatever. I hope we're entertaining.
Yeah, we hope you like the hang.
Yeah. And I love hearing, you know, when you guys hit up Sean and it's something thought-provoking or you think we made your day or like, hey, we made you think or whatever. Like I like hearing those stories from him and vice versa. I like when you guys send it to me and I'm able to share it to him. And we certainly... we don't take those for granted because you took an hour of your time to listen and then you took, you know, 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is to write us a message about it. And I don't take that for granted, man.
Yeah, as always. Yeah, as always, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.